and is going to move with them. And so I think everybody's had experience getting their dog on the ball. And obviously mine are pretty rabid about it. Sky's going to be the demo girl today. And so if you were going to introduce it, I'd put it on the floor off, and I would feed to get their legs up, or to get their front feet up, just so that they understand that this thing makes cookies. Okay, got my bowl of cookies right here next to me. Okay, now if you've watched the Get on the Ball videos, they take probably half the video to show you how to slowly introduce to the dog to get up on the ball. But it didn't take my guys any time at all. It was like monkey see, monkey do. Okay, up. Okay, so Sky's on. Now, this is the best thing. Okay, I've got it between my feet here. Okay, and I'm gonna keep it stabilized. But as soon as I see she's not having any trouble, I'm gonna let out a little bit. So see how it makes it a little more unstable for her. Now you want to really watch the dog there. So if this is the first time that your dog has done this, okay, you want to keep it pretty, you keep your feet pretty tight on it so that there's not a lot of extra movement, because it's gonna work those muscles in here and the rear. And really the thing I like about these, the peanut, the egg, any of it, is as they just stand here and look pretty, they're working all kinds of muscles. Okay, if you are able, when you're not feeding, just feel. And I can tell you that her Sky's working her shoulders in here. She's working very much in here. You can feel all the muscles, particularly in here, which is really good to work on those iliopsoas muscles, because there's just not much else for the core that they can do other than these types of exercises. And if they're doing these, it's really not putting a lot of stress on the limbs. Same thing with the rear. Stay. She's working her, stand up, stand up. She's working her rear muscles and all of this in the legs. The quads are really working, even just to stand here. So if you want to put them up and just let them stand, and again, just feed, a lot. This makes it fun, and I never quit feeding on the ball. This thing makes cookies. So now you get to practice some of what you've been, you get to apply some of what you've been practicing. So remember when we picked up 1 foot at a time? Okay, I'm picking up 1 foot at a time. Good. And the same thing. Now, because we've been doing that work on the floor, right, they know what we're going to do next, right? Okay, see, she's already given me that foot. Okay, again, just as on the floor, you want to make sure that you notice if they're giving it to you freely, or if they seem to lean on you a little bit. See, she's giving me her feet pretty freely, and she's not really, her foot is not really resting. It's only resting on my hand. It's not really, putting pressure to keep balance. Okay. The advantage to doing it while you have a healthy dog is if you find that you're doing it and you get used to what it feels like, then you will know when they don't put pressure or they put extra pressure on that side. It may be that the other side hurts. Now what happens is, if I'm holding this and she's really leaning into me, like she's not wanting to put the full weight over here, it could mean a couple of things. The main thing is it will alert you that something's not right. Okay, could be maybe something in this shoulder, or more likely it may be something in this leg over here that she just doesn't want to put full weight on here. Or it could be another leg, but it would at least give you a clue that something might not be right. So I'm going to feed with this, and so do the same things that you've been doing on the flat, to pick up the feet. Okay, and then we'll do the diagonal feet. Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, we'll do the diagonal feet. And again, nothing fast, everything slow and thoughtful. Okay, see, she's already picking up this one. She knows what's coming next, right? Good, yes. Now this side is a little more difficult for her to balance on. Okay, she's putting more pressure in this hand. Good, stand. Yes, that was good. Okay, so that tells me it's just something I'm marking. Now let me see, because it could be, it may, yeah, okay. It's just because my shoulder was in her face, right? So if I pick up using the opposite hands like this, good girl. She's not putting any weight. She's holding her own weight there. Yes, a very good girl. Okay, now we'll pick up the feet on the same side. Now this one's harder, so they may, and she's putting a good amount of weight here. Okay, good, yes. Okay, now we'll do this side. Yes, good girl. Okay, now we can do some good old-fashioned puppy push-ups. Okay, sky drop, drop, good. Okay, now you want them to go drop, good, stand, yes, good girl. Okay, so you want them to go from a drop to a stand, and what that does, good, stand, stand, yay, oh, cheater, stand, get it, stand, yay, is that really helps the muscles in the back legs, particularly the rear assembly. But it's good for the shoulders also. Sky, sit. Now Jack does most of his work in a sit because that's most comfortable for him. If they're sitting, and there's nothing wrong with sitting. In fact, if you are watching Jeopardy, as I often do when I'm doing this, sometimes you want them to sit, especially during Final Jeopardy, right? Sky, sit. Good. But you want to make sure that their feet stay under them. Right here. Sit. Sit. Sky, sit. I'm trying to get her to stick her foot out. She's not doing it, but you want to make sure that the feet are underneath and not stuck out to the side. Okay, Sky, drop. Drop. Good. Good. Okay, now you want to keep them dropped. Sky, dropped. Okay. Now I can move the ball around a little bit. Okay, now when I'm doing this, whoops, I'm comfortable with her because she's done this enough. But you want to keep one hand on the dog, okay? Sky, drop. Good. So you can keep one hand on the dog and just kind of move, and you can see from the ball here that it's moving. This is just working the muscles in a different way, okay? So if they're not comfortable standing, if the ball is really moving around a lot like that, okay, that might be a case where you'd want them to lie down or to sit. And again, this is just how they're comfortable. If they're standing the whole time and they're very comfortable, then let out a little bit on how tight you're holding the ball, okay? And you can see when I let out, then she has to really balance. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, that's very good. Okay, you don't have to do much of this before they are just absolutely exhausted. So it's kind of nice for them and for us. But it's really good when they can't get outside in the summer to keep working this, because you hear more and more about the iliopsoas muscles that are back up in here, and there's just not much that they can do for those. It's sort of like a groin pull for humans. There's just not much that they can do for that except rest. So the more that we can strengthen those, the less likely it is that they'll have a pull. Right, girlfriend? Right? Yeah. Okay. So, hop down. Ready? Off. Okay. Nothing special about getting off. If you want to lift them off, that's fine. Okay. Good. All right. If they are more comfortable hopping on the end of the ball, that's fine. The main thing is you want to get them up here and help them understand that that up here on top of the ball is a great time. Okay, so that should give you quite a bit of homework for the week. Yes, is that right? Okay, you want to hop down? Hop down. Yay. Okay, so